Hi, this is Tom Bellamo. The scholarship of teaching and learning is often defined as systematic inquiry into student learning, which advances the practice of teaching in higher education by making inquiry findings public. In this demonstration, I want to show you how I incorporate inquiry into research, involve my students' input, and then display findings not publicly per se, but to my students, and use those findings to inform instruction. And it begins with a case study called Popson's Dilemma. It's the story of a new professor who is perplexed. How do I motivate my students? And so this professor interviews 6 veterans, and they each tell this young newbie what works best for them. So students are then told to rank order. Which advice do you think is best? What would motivate you personally? So we personalize it. What motivates you? And that leads to a good time of discussion, some group work, and then class interaction. And then we close it out. But at the end of class, I've given them a tally sheet. They put their rank orderings there, and I collect them. And unbeknownst to them, I'm going to tally that data and then display the results in our next class. So this is one of my sections of student success. And we begin this next class by going over each of the 6 professors and just doing a little review. Asante is the one who said that if you want to motivate students, tell them higher degree, more money. Give the students control. Give them a purpose. Grades are everything. Teamwork, projects, active and engaging. And we look over their class results. So they get a little sketch of where they stand as a class. And we find that in this class, Fagan was top dog. And here's the rest of the dispersion. Conversely, Buckley was the least favorite. And this often leads to good discussion. Why? Don't you like freedom? I think you'd want control and a time of class discussion and the remainder of the dispersion. Then I show them aggregate data that I've been collecting for years. And you see that my sample size is over 500 students. And I say, let's look at the overall numbers and what can we learn from this? Because to me, numbers speak. I was, as QEP director for a while, I was a research analyst, and the numbers had to be interpreted. What can we learn from them? So using the numbers here, again, we see that Fagan is top dog, and there's the rest of the dispersion. Similarly, Buckley, their least favorite way to be motivated, and the rest of the dispersion. So analyzing the data, looking at the best or most motivating means, yes, Fagan, again, students' favorite. We talk about that. But at this point, I point out the following. Yes, Fagan garners the most votes, but more than half the class don't think that's the best thing that motivates them or the best way to motivate them. Conversely, yes, a lot of people say, freedom, we don't want that, don't want too much control. But looking at the data, we see a full 10% that motivates them the most. And then in second place, ironically, we find that when it comes to grades, it was second place both from most motivating and least motivating means. So we looked at this, discussed it, watched the takeaway, and we come away with this point. Motivation is diverse. And I use this and say, Popson's dilemma is Dr. B's dilemma and every other professor's dilemma because we can't please everyone all the time. And the takeaway for the students is, listen, some days I'll be teaching in this format, in this style, and I know I'm catering to some people and other people saying, this isn't my thing. And I encourage you, don't check out, because another day I'll be teaching a different way, and I'll be in your wheelhouse. So let's be patient with everybody. It's a diverse class, and let's respect our differences. They understand that what motivates you may not motivate another. And that's why I make my final point here, that you have to bring self-motivation to the table. You're in college, you choose to be here, and don't expect a dog and pony show from all your professors. You have to bring something to the table. And So we use this, and they see their own numbers, and the numbers speak, and they realize and get this point, okay, the class won't be same old each lecture, right, or each activity. Let me go back and come here and show you as well. I remember one class, and how this is used to inform me, because I can use these numbers and see where they favor and what I can put emphasis on. But I remember one particular semester, 3/4 into the semester, the class just lacked some energy. And I had another class, another section that same semester, and we were thriving. So I wasn't teaching significantly differently between the two, but what was going on? And I went back to this slide deck. And it just so happened this particular class that was getting lethargic happened to be one of the very few, if not the only class, where freedom and choice of control was their number one choice, or what motivates them. And I said to them the next class, after I looked at the data, I said, we have about a few weeks left. Here are some topics we have to cover or would like to cover. And I listed 3 or 4. And I said, I want you to choose which one of these we should cover. And then select the order and give me some insight in what particularly from these topics you'd like to cover. And I did that, put them in control, and the class, it was energized and finished off strongly. Well, thank you. Hope this gives some insights into SoTL and how I use it in my class.